What up, baby?
Hello everyone, my name is Jasmine and today I'll be talking about the interview with Corbs and Anthony Padilla. I am a counseling intern and I study clinical mental health counseling. I'll be hitting on topics such as mental health disturbances, emotional disturbances, mental health disorders, and I do want to preface this intro with a disclaimer that I will be talking about some mentions of self-harm. In this video, I do not claim to know Corbs or who he is truly. I am going based on what he said and what came out of his mouth on the interview, and I will only be evaluating that in particular. For this video, I will only be going off of my education and my experience. Watching the interview with Anthony Padilla and Corbs, it was very eye-opening for me and I learned a lot about Corbs. There are really only 3 topics in the interview that I really want to cover because I felt like they were the most important. So the first up is the mention of chronic illness. So Corbs did mention that he suffers from GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease, and it can be very painful. I know he has like other issues with his back or his spine, a little bit with his nervous system it sounds like, and he just really says that it's a lot of pain and he has to suffer through that pain and it's kind of like an everyday thing. So with chronic illness, a lot of times we do see people developing mental disorders such as depression. He even mentions in the interview that he says to himself, why is this happening? Why me? So we definitely, that's a huge concept in chronic illness. The person who's going through it thinks that it's somehow their fault, or that if they were only better in their life, or if they didn't do some of the things that they've done before, maybe they wouldn't have this illness, or maybe it's a spurn of bad karma. And through that pain, they will go through a lot of ups and downs emotionally. Some days are good, some days are bad. Some days they feel like they can get through the disease. Other days they feel like, they don't want to go through it anymore, and they may even consider not wanting to be here anymore. If the pain becomes truly unbearable, bad things happen. Now, as for the GERD, I can completely understand. I have it as well, and it is excruciating some days. Or if you're going through a period where it's really bad. I mean, I've had it where it was just really, really bad for 2 weeks. And basically what it is, it's when the valve in your stomach doesn't close when you're finished eating. And so what happens is once you're done eating, all the food comes back up your throat and splashes your vocal cords. It can even go up into your nose. That's happened to me before. And when that food comes up, it's covered in acid. So the acid in our stomach is one of the strongest acids ever. It's HCl, it's hydrochloride, and it can cause scarring, damage. It can cause you to have like a really sore throat and cold, like to the point where you can't even swallow or eat. People lose a lot of weight because they just simply can't eat. I could literally make a video about GERD because I've been through the ringer. I've had to do the same thing. I had an endoscopy done and everything. So what I'm saying is that this can cause a lot of pain, and not a lot of people experience it, or you might not have any family members or friends that truly understand it. They just think, oh, it's just a heartburn, but it's a lot more than that. It can cause a lot of pain. But the bottom line is that pain can literally make you miserable and turn you into a different person. The next topic I want to talk about, again, a disclaimer here, is that he mentioned that he used to self-harm. In the interview, he says that he used to his face before going into the game and playing with his friends. So on the face is a little different. Usually the most common areas for self-harm is going to be the legs, the arms, the thighs sometimes, or any area that is easily hidden. So when he says that he would his face, it is super specific and particular to his self-image. He did mention in the interview that he doesn't have body dysmorphia or anything like that. However, I do feel that there's some self-esteem issues there that causes him to scar such a visible part of his body. So it definitely, to me, sounds like there isn't a lot of love for himself. And usually what you find in people who do harm themselves, they usually have some type of hate for themselves, or they lack control in their life. So when people take control by hurting themselves, even though it kind of sounds like backwards sometimes to other people, this is a way that they gain control back. So a lot of times when you see people who don't have any control in their lives, whether it's with relationships, work, family, then we can see that come up a lot. He does mention that he has some issues with his family that they don't really speak anymore. So that's definitely, if I was his counselor, that's something I would want to dig into and talk to him about, because that could be a root in why he has self-image issues, or maybe why he's so like hypercritical of himself. Because when I notice that someone doesn't approve of their own self-image or who they are, they don't like who they are, it's usually due to early criticism at a young age. And so they carry that on with them and they become super hypercritical of themselves. Sometimes that can transfer into being critical of others too. So he might be critical of others, he might be really critical of himself. Also, if you meet someone who's really critical of you, they are probably 10 times more critical of themselves. They just have a hard time of showing how they care in a proper way. Now, in that interview, I was really surprised that they kind of just zoomed past that. Like when he said his face and things like that, and he mentioned that he, you know, thought about other things, you know what I'm saying? And they kind of just like zoomed through that in the video. I don't know if they like edited it or, you know, probably it was just too dark and deep for that to air, but that's definitely really concerning. And Corpse, if you're watching this, please seek help. That is not something to play around with, and it's super scary and just really devastating. That's something that you will have to carry on with you for the rest of your life, so that can be really, really damaging. Okay, and so the final topic that I want to talk about is anonymity. Did I say that right? Anonymity? Oh my gosh. You guys know what I mean. Anonymous. He likes to be anonymous. The fact that he wants to be, you know, super private and hides his true identity online is very telling about his personality and his struggle. As he said in the interview multiple times, he feels that he can't truly be himself in reality because people will find out who he is, and then, you know, he will lose that part of him. Just imagine if no one knew your face, no one knew who you were, it's so much easier to open up to people and to talk to them about some of the deepest, darkest parts of you, because who cares? They don't know who you are truly. You know, they don't know who you are in real life. I'm talking about all his fans and the people who don't know what he looks like. It's easier for him to open up to us because we don't really know what he looks like, and we don't know his true identity. This also allows him more freedom to be himself. And again, this kind of like brings me back to like wanting to know what the family dynamic was, because maybe it stems back from like early on and not being able to truly be himself then, and that carrying over into his adulthood. Now, for us outsiders, when there's someone who's mysterious and closed off, that for some reason draws us in. We want to know more, we want to figure out the puzzle. And so he has built a fan base based off of this anonymous identity, this person that we don't truly know. And it's super intriguing, super interesting. And for someone of his personality, I feel like he wouldn't be that type of person who would want to be famous. I feel like he doesn't like the responsibility, the weight that holds. And the way he does talk about fame kind of leads me to that point. He doesn't seem too interested in it, but he does respect his fan base. I feel that he does like the attention for being Corpse, but I don't know if he would enjoy it if it was real and he couldn't, you know, walk out into the street and have a ton of people just bombarding him. I don't think that would be his style. I don't think he really truly likes attention. Now, he did say something about people being close to him in his real life not truly knowing about him, so kind of like living this double life, which I found very interesting, because again, it's just leading to that point of the people in his real life and reality, you know, not really knowing the true him. But I feel that the online base, the fan base, knows more about him than maybe some of his close family or friends. His mysterious bad boy trope definitely catches a lot of attention from females, fangirls, whatever you want to call it. I'm a fan too. I think it's cool, but I think it's just intriguing because it draws you in and you just want to figure out the puzzle piece. However, I do think he should be careful about getting too caught up in the fantasy, because this can cause feelings of derealization, which means you start to forget like what's reality, what's fantasy, and you can start to feel disconnected from your surroundings, your feelings, your emotions, basically dissociating from the real world. All right, you guys, that's all I have for today's video. I do want to do a video where I analyze Corpse's music video lyrics, which I think will be really cool. Like, I would totally want to analyze the heck out of that. Let me know what you guys want in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe below, and I'll see you guys next time.